Yo, what's up guys, Metaphor here, and this is my recap video from my Korea trip. So, for those of you who, have been following the channel, you will know that I've been in Korea for the last about 2.5 months. I went there purely to experience the game in a stronger environment, or not a stronger environment, but with stronger players in a different environment and to really push myself as a player. I spent all my time playing in a PC cafe, which is a place where you pay money to basically use a computer. It cost me 40,000 Korean won for 74 hours. So I would basically, and that's like just computer use time, not in-game time. So, yeah. So I played all my time at a PC cafe, and I stayed in what is called a Goshiwon. And if you don't know what that is, I mean, you can probably just Google it, but it's basically a very small room, and mainly people that stay in there are like poor like students and stuff like that, or poor people who like I guess are probably like working a job trying to save money or something. And I just stayed there just because I was only planning on sleeping in there, and I don't really need a big room for that. So, yeah. Um, so just hopping into talking about it. First things first. Just to answer some questions people are probably gonna have. My highest rank in Korea was 602 LP. I had 2 accounts. I only got to play 50 games on my first one, and then I had to remake accounts because I accidentally leaked my password since I only had one monitor there. Basically, I had the password on like a Twitter DM, so I had to ask Riot to remake my account because for some reason you can't change the password on Riot accounts. So oh, and I had a LCS organization help me out with an account, so I had a legitimate account, which is why I was able to stream and not get banned on Korea. So I was there for a total of 71 days, and I had over 1,200 games. So someone can do the math on that. I think it's like 16 games a day on average or something. And yeah, I really pushed myself to play as much as possible, and it was very easy. It was very easy to play that much. It was very easy to get addicted to League of Legends again, and I've been playing solo queue in NA for years now, and it is it's very easy to get unmotivated due to the quality of players in NA, and the behavior patterns of the people who just don't care, people who hold electronic grudges, people who just are genuine like fucking losers, man. And in Korea, they care more about just playing the game. There's definitely a lot of people in Korea who troll, and I'll talk about that in a bit, but you don't have people in Korea bragging about the fact that they're in community college and that's why they're stuck in D1 and that's why they're trolling you. Whereas in NA, like that's actually quite frequently how often people will say stuff like that. So it was a nice change of pace. And just to jump back on the whole 1,200 games thing, I don't recommend doing that. That was it's basically really hard for me to have basically like the self-control to stop playing, because every single day where I woke up, even after a day where I lost a ton of games, man, every single day when I woke up, like I just wanted to play so badly. And I've been playing League for a long time now. I started in season 2, but I didn't start like hardcore playing until season 4. So I've been playing this game for like probably 5 years, for a long time. And even when I was first getting good at the game, I'm sure you guys all remember, you guys all started off as casuals, and then there was like that one period of time where you're like, all right, you know what? Let's actually try to play this game. Uh, and even when I had that moment in season 4, I didn't enjoy the game as much as I enjoyed it in Korea. It was so nice to like, you know, every single game meet new people. Playing against the Korean pros, I literally played with I played with everyone, like just people that you would know. I played with Dopa. I played with Faker. I played with Clid, Teddy, um, Peanut. I really played with everyone. It was so cool. Uh, Damwon Canyon, who's like one of my favorite players. Uh, Genji Roche, a bunch of people. And it was really cool. I got to add a bunch of them. A lot of them were super nice to me. Um, and it was like, it's just so cool. It just really reminded me of like the first time like I got to high elo in NA and I saw the pro players and I'm like, wow. But like the thing is in Korea, like I don't know, man. Something about it is just different. Like you actually feel like you're against like final boss when you're playing against them, man. Like in NA, like when you see a pro player, for the first like couple times it's like oh shit, but like in NA there's a good chance that the pro players aren't going to be trying in solo queue because a lot of people in the pro scene really like to just do nothing in solo queue and they just complain about how bad it is because well, I don't actually know. I mean, I understand that the ping is probably quite bad for them because they're used to playing on no ping on scrims and on LCS days, but it really sucks in NA how the pros don't really try and they like to blame it on the fact that the solo queue's bad, but the solo queue's bad because they don't try, so it's a bad mix. But in Korea, like I hardly encountered pro players who were just like shitheads in in Korea, whenever there was a pro player in the game, it seemed like everybody was tryharding to impress the person instead of in NA. I feel like there's a good amount of time when you got a streamer on your team or a pro player on your stream. There's people in the game that instead of trying their hardest, they will, you know, they'll like not troll, but like it just depends on the person, man. And they'll like some people will just fucking like soften because they think it's funny to get on the nerves of someone who's better than them at League. Um, and I'm not the most famous person ever, but I've actually had that happen to me, so I can only imagine that happens to other people too. I've seen it happen on streams as well. Um, Whatever, that's not really a big deal, but it's just something I noticed. Like in Korean games, there is like not as much, or not in Korean games, in Korean solo games with the pros in them, there was not as much like fighting. If anyone ever typed, people would just type like no chat, like don't chat, just play. Like basically, yeah, people tried to take the game seriously when there's pro players, and when there wasn't pro players, people still tried to take the game seriously. But you know, if someone was like outed as being Chinese and like they were playing badly, people would just flame them for being Chinese. I got mistaken for a Chinese player several times because the Chinese people there speak English in the solo queue because they can't understand Korean, and a lot of Koreans have like basic English skills. So um, basically, if the Koreans see somebody typing in English, they just think it's a Chinese person, and Chinese people and Korean people love trolling each other. So uh, that's pretty much the only time you'll see like insane toxicity. It can get pretty racist too, but typically it's not that bad, and uh, they usually only do it when like the game is really fucked. Like the game has to be pretty fucked for them to like start doing that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's obviously games where like people will just AFK after they die one time, but the toxicity, for the most part, I think it was really justified. I'm known for being quite a toxic player myself. I'm known for, FFing and stuff like that. So, I went into it with the mindset like, how bad could it be? It's definitely more toxic than NA on a level of, people will just ruin the game if they're not like 1v9ing. The thing is, like, in Korea, um, Korean players do not like Korean players, they care about winning, but above all, they care about beating the person who they're in lane with so much. Like in NA, I don't want to say that people will lose gracefully in NA because I know they don't. I know they'll just end. But in Korea, it's like basically if they can't solo kill their laner, then they will lose the game. Uh, like they will lose the game trying to solo kill their laner, and if you don't go there to help them, they will either just troll or they'll either AFK or they'll just keep fighting over and over again until they lose. People in Korea don't really know how to, you know, play safe. They don't know how they don't really care about that. They care more about, playing as many games as possible and just outplaying the shit out of the person they're playing against, no matter what. So, um, it is really hard as a jungler who is used to, I guess, a more slower pace type of game to get dropped into, a server where every single player is trying so fucking hard to, solo kill the person, and if you're not there to back them up, they'll just troll you. Compared to NA where, most people would prefer people to farm and just do that. I feel like the jungle play style in Korea is not carry oriented at all. It's more about just trying to make the enemies AFK, and it's more about um, just having permanent awareness on the map. So, um, and just not very much farming at all. So it's actually really funny just talking about the whole not farming thing. Korean players like don't want you to farm, and in the mid game they'll take all of your jungle camps, but then they'll get mad at you for being underleveled, which I think is so funny. Like it's hard to get mad at them because like it just seems like it's satire, but like they'll just take all your jungle camps and they'll start picking what level you are, and it's like, all right, bro, like come on, man. Like I have more KP than the enemy jungler, and I'm like give me a break, bro. Like they'll take all your farm and then they'll get mad at you. That shit's mad funny. Um, but yeah, I mean, people people in Korea just don't like junglers. Like they don't like them. Like they don't like getting carried by junglers. Like I had so many games where I would be so god mode fed in the early game, and then my teammates would just fucking lose it, bro. It's like it's almost like they wanted me to lose because I was playing like a style where like they didn't enjoy it. Because the thing is like it's as good as it is to play Elise, Talia, Lee Sin, all these early game junglers. Like if your team sucks, it's very hard to win. Like it's so hard to win because your whole playstyle is revolving around playing around your teammates early. And if you don't have opportunities presented to you, or certain lanes aren't playing out the way they should, it almost seems like those games are just a lost cause because you're playing a non-hard carry champion. So I'd play stuff like Evelyn and you know, Kane and Kha'Zix, and what I would try to do is I would try to play them the Korean way, but like those champs are not meant for early fighting, right? Well, Kane kind of is, but the other two not so much. But what I would try to do is I would try to meet them in the middle. Like, okay, I'm gonna play a champ that has 1v9 potential, but I'm also kind of gonna give in, and I'm gonna play your guys' way. So uh, that was an interesting hurdle to get over. Basically reinventing my playstyle. In general, playing other champions too is nice, like experiencing, uh, Karthus, Talia, Lee Sin on low ping, like these champs, and Rengar, like these champs just feel stronger in Korea. Like playing on low ping just feels so nice, and I'm really, really dreading. I'm really dreading queuing up for my first game on NA. This is the day after I just woke up after a very short sleep. Uh, I did not sleep very well. I don't really feel that well. I just got off, or I just flew back in yesterday, and I was basically an airport slash the air for about uh 18ish hours. So a bit tired, but um yeah. Uh, Super glad to be home. I know a lot of people are saying I'm gonna dread playing in NA, but I'm actually very excited to play back in NA and go into the game with a new perspective. And there's a lot of flaws that I realized I had in Korea, and I'm very excited to try to work on them here. Um, because all that really matters at the end of the day is what happens when I come home. Like, how do I handle playing the game here? Do I qualify for scouting grounds? You know, if I get a tryout for a team at some point in the year in the off season, like how do I perform in that? How do I apply my skills to my future stuff? I basically just put myself in like a high intense environment for 2 months, completely overplayed, um, and just tried to see what would happen. Honestly, I didn't go there for vacation purposes. I've gotten a lot of people that are like, "Hey, dude, like, hope you're like, hope it was like it's nice coming back from your vacation." It's like, was it really a vacation though? Because, like, you know, I kind of went there just to play League, and that's really all I did. Uh, I don't really, I wouldn't consider what I did a vacation. I definitely went there to train. Like that was the whole purpose of it. So yeah, I wouldn't really call that a vacation. I would say it was actually quite the opposite. Um, yeah. Um, Speaking of scouting grounds, I'm gonna be trying to get in. Uh, if you guys don't know how they're doing it this year, there's two different ways to get in. There's a way to qualify through as a team, and then there's also a solo queue way. So since I've missed the first couple checks through solo queue, plus like as you can see, like look at my rank right now. Like I'm my account decayed to diamond 2. So climbing this account to like 1,000 LP within the next like week or so is pretty yikes. So I'm probably not gonna be able to qualify to Scouting Grounds through the solo QA. So I've decided to play with some people for like an amateur team to qualify to Scouting Grounds that way. And if you don't understand how that works, you can just Google it. It's very simple. Just Google Face It Scouting Grounds. You can figure that out. So yeah. What else do I want to talk about? I feel like I haven't even like talked about anything yet. So for things that, let me just talk about Korea for a second. Man, compared to where I live, like I live in Regina, Saskatchewan. Uh, Basically like all around where I live is just like prairie land and like farming and shit. And I don't want to say the city that I live in is small because the population's like pretty decent, but it's definitely not like a big city. Um, or anything like that. And it's like very like the city's like very open in like the area that I live in. Uh, like obviously downtown is more busy, but where I like the area that I live in is pretty open. And in Korea, like everything is just it's so like jam packed, and like you're basically like forced to interact with people, which is a good thing. Um, it was so like surreal, man. Like the amount of people that were always outside, and I posted some pictures on Twitter about the area that I was around, and it just seemed so like not real. Like I don't know, man. There were some days where I was just walking around in Korea, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, kind of just taken back. Like there's like it just seemed like there's just like all these like neon lights and like Korean and stuff like that, and like the buildings are like stacked up on each other. So like on the first floor you'd have like a restaurant, the second floor would be like a bar, the third floor would be like some other bullshit place, and the fourth floor would be a PC cafe, and the fifth floor would be something else. and like, you know, you would take like these like elevators to go everywhere. There was no like single building that was like dedicated to just like one thing. It was like every building was like a stacked up building. It was like really cool. But like there's just like hella people around. People really did not speak English there. Like I only met a very small amount of people that could even understand me. Other than that, I had to use like a translate app to communicate with them, but it wasn't that bad. Um, you know, I kind of feel bad because there's like some people, like there's a store that I went to all the time in between my Goshiwan and the PC cafe, and depending on like what time of the day you went there, there was different people working. So there's like this guy who I would say he's probably like maybe early 20s or like 19, and you know he doesn't really speak English, but you know I saw him like if I was ever there between like midnight and like I would say like 10 o'clock to like 6 a.m. He was always just chilling. Like he was working there, and you know, I would just go to the grocery store, buy like a 2 liter thing of water, and then just go to the PC cafe and just do that. But it was nice having like those little interactions with people, even if they don't really speak English. Like when I first went in, we didn't really talk, but like you know the as I kept going in like every night, he'd be like hello, like he would try to talk to me in English, and like super polite people, like and it was just really nice to like get like familiar with like the locals in like some of the people like in the shops that I went to often. uh there was there's like a Subway that's by the PC cafe, and there's like this man who I think he was like 40, but like he looked like he was in his 20s, like crazy. But he like spoke decent English. I talked to him, told him about why I was there, told him that I was playing League there, and he knows about it. He said he plays StarCraft, and you know, on my last day there, I was like telling him like, hey dude, like I'm not gonna, I'm I mean, I'm probably not gonna see you again. And I interacted with that guy like pretty often because I was there for 2 months, and you know, I just saw him a lot, and I even saw him outside of when I didn't go to Subway. Like he was like, because people are just around outside in that area often, and I saw him a couple times, and it was just really cool, like talking to some of the people there, and they a lot of people would ask me like, "Where are you from?" Thinking I was like American, and whenever as soon as I said Canada, they would just be like, "Oh," like they would just get so happy when I said I was from Canada. Um, yeah, no, it was really cool. It was so cool interacting with some of the locals there. I never had a single negative experience interacting with someone. Now I'm sure there was there was probably people like making like comments and shit in Korean, but I never had a single experience where I was like, fuck, like this is kind of fucked. Like whenever like I would try to communicate with people and like they didn't understand me and I didn't understand them, I would they'd never get mad at me, and I would never obviously get mad at them. It was kind of more like a funny thing, like trying to like communicate with someone and you guys can't understand each other, but like you're both like totally saying stuff that like you think the other person should understand. Like this happened a lot when I was like trying to order food and stuff like that. Uh, had some really funny interactions with people there. Um, yeah, I got to. Oh, okay. Let me talk about the place that I stayed by. Okay, so the reason why I stayed where I stayed, so I stayed by the Team BBQ house. That's the team that LS used to coach, and my friend Deus, who used to go by RJSD&D God, he is in this big building, and I was talking to him before I came. I'm like, hey dude, like where should I stay in Korea? Like yada yada yada, and he's like, yo, like uh here's this place that I used to stay at, and here's this PC cafe that I used to play at. So honestly, if I didn't know, I'm gonna call him Alex from here on out because that's his name. If I didn't know Alex, like I don't even know where I would have went. I actually probably wouldn't have even went to Korea if I didn't know Alex, because going into a new country like that blind, especially not knowing anyone, um, kind of scary thing. to be honest. Really scary thing, but he got me hooked up. The guy who worked in the Goshiwan, super nice guy. It was really hard to communicate with him though. He did not fucking understand a goddamn word of English, but yeah. So, and the reason why Alex knows about that place is because he used to play there. I think LS showed him it, and LS also showed him the Goshiwan. And it was really cool. I got to meet uh, some guys from EU there. There was an EU guy named Rabstar. He is a ADC player from EU West, and he's in Korea. And then some of Rabstar's friends came to Korea as well. So then they came to the same Goshiwan because they know Rabstar, like how I knew Alex. And one of them is someone who I got to, hang out with pretty much daily. Because Alex didn't play in the PC cafe. He played in the BBQ house. There's a EU guy top laner named Curb, and he came like about a month into my visit, and got to meet him, and we would always like sit by each other in the PC cafe and like go get food together and stuff like that. He's a really nice guy. And then there was towards the end of my trip, like the last like 4 or 5 days, two more EU guys came. One of their names was Batu. I don't know how to say it. It's like I don't know how to say it, but he was like this like over the top EU guy who's like your typical, like if you think of a EU stereotype guy, you're thinking of that guy. Like the words he would say, man, and like you just the he's a funny guy, but he's pretty over the top EU guy. Like fucking L9 shit. Like it, I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. Honestly, some of the shit he said was pretty fucking funny though. But yeah, so I got to meet like 3 or 4 different people who spoke English. Speaking of LS, I did get to meet LS as well. Not intentionally. I intended on when I first went there to rent a PC from him and play through my Goshiwan, but I realized as soon as I got there that that wasn't possible. Playing for my Goshiwan would have been really bad because I wanted to stream a lot of my games, and I didn't want to be noisy to the people in the Goshiwan. I wanted to create as little problems as possible when I was there. So it's like, you know what, I'll just play at the PC cafe. People don't really care if I'm noisy there. People were screaming like Korean words the whole time anyway. So if you watch my stream, you know what I'm talking about. So I was like, yeah, I'll just play in the PC cafe. And I, like, probably on my 3rd or 4th day in, I actually met LS. Oh, and there's also a guy from China there that I met, and he's like, he did like international studies or something, so like he could speak perfect English, so that's really nice. I forget his name though. I can't remember his name right now. I'm very tired. Sorry. So like 3 or 4 days in, LS was actually in the PC cafe. I was like just sitting or waiting for the elevator, and all of a sudden he just walks up beside me. I'm like, oh shit, like, what's up, dude? It's Metaphor, and he's really pleasant to talk to. I remember like a couple years ago seeing something on Reddit or something about LS, like talking about how like I don't know if it was him or not. Maybe it wasn't him, but that he like would fist bump people, like he wouldn't like shake people's hands because he's like a germ person. Like those people who like don't ever like shake people's hands and like like the germaphobe people. I swear I thought that was him, but maybe not. But talking to him, he seemed just super. Basically, when you think about people in the League scene and you talk to them in real life, I've met a lot of League people in real life, and a lot of them are pretty quiet. But you can tell that he's actually like pretty easy to talk to, and just a chill guy. And yeah, like he shook my hand at the end of it, and I was like, oh, like this isn't really what I expected. Like obviously, I expected him to be nice to me, because we're both aware of each other, and we're in the same scene, and he probably doesn't see very many like American people. I'm Canadian, but you know what I mean, like white people in general. So it was cool talking to him. That was like the only time I really saw him. I saw him in the PC cafe a few times, but I would kind of just like you know, say what's up, and then I would keep doing my own thing. So it's pretty much always in game. Uh, but yeah, no, it was cool seeing him. It definitely was a bit unexpected talking to him. Like the way that he carried himself, I guess, was a bit unexpected. It was more pleasant than I thought it would be. Like, not, I didn't expect anything bad. It's just he just carries himself in a different way than you'd think he would in real life. So, like, more confidently than you think you would. So it was nice to see. Um, oh geez, what else is there to talk about? I'm not cutting this out. I'm just gonna make this entire one video, kind of like my scouting runs video. Um, all right, let's talk about. Okay, let's talk about the PC Cafe itself. So, yeah. So ever since I got there, the PCs that you're playing on there, they're good, but like, you know, my PC at home is so good in comparison. Plus, my monitor is like the size that I like it, and you know, I'm using my mouse, keyboard, and my headset. Whereas at the PC Cafe, um, I only was using my mouse because like the PCs are like locked in like a cabinet, so you can't really plug USB stuff in. So I can only really choose whether to use my keyboard or my mouse. So I chose my mouse, and I had to use like a different monitor and a different keyboard. And you know, anyone who's played for a long time on a certain setup will know that when you do try to change it, especially something like a monitor size, it's very, very, very hard to play. And I was also experiencing extreme computer issues while streaming. Like, again, if you guys watched my stream at all, you probably heard me complain about it. But um, you know, my screen would tear all the time. It would. I mean, you can go look at my VODs right now if you want to. There's a lot of instances where the first game of the day, it would just completely crash the computer. Like when I turned on my stream, my computer would just fucking crash, and I would lose so many games because my team would have to remake the match because I couldn't connect. I had to restart my stream, restart my PC, and every single day that I went there, I had to re-download OBS, I had to re-download all the stuff that I used for my stream, I had to re-put in all my verification codes every single day, navigate the computers in Korean, and you know, that got easier over time, but you know, I had to, so like, if I was one of those days where like my computer crashed, like let's say I spent like a couple minutes setting up my stream before I started my stream, you know, I would have to restart my computer and then I have to re-log into literally everything again. I'd have to re-download everything again, and it was such a tedious process that like just doesn't happen at home, and definitely added to the frustration. Not to mention the fact that it was like perma noisy there, and you always got people like bumping into like your chair and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not like, I'm just stating like, you know, the experience there. I'm not like really complaining about it because like I could have technically played from home if I wanted to. But there was definitely some challenges playing there. The PC sucked, in my opinion, and you know, the environment was a little over the top sometimes. Um, Also, with playing 1,200 games in 2.5 months, you know, I would say about halfway through, if not a bit more, like 6 weeks in, definitely was feeling the burnout. Was definitely feeling the burnout. You know, playing that many games, there were so many days where like I would just keep playing even though I didn't want to. Just, you guys know, like, you know, getting, trying to get off on a loss and stuff like that, and it's like it was so addicting to play. Like, dude, I don't know how to put this into words, man, but like every single day I would wake up and just want to play 20 games a day. And it's so crazy to even think about League like that because I know so many people like are so fed up with League, and you know, they're so tired of like how bad the game is. But even though like the game is like not in the best spot, especially because it's season 9 with like the matchmaking, like it was still so much fun. Um, yeah. So let me just talk about basically when I was flying home. I was there's something that happened yesterday. Obviously, because I flew home yesterday. After my Korean flight, I was sitting at, you know, the baggage area, and I get a tweet, you know, saying, "Hey, dude, there's like some Reddit thread talking about you, right?" and I like open it, and it has just like 800 or 900 upvotes or something like that, and hundreds of comments. And basically, the whole thread was just harassing me, and you know, saying that I'm like just some shit NA player who, like, the post was full of lies, by the way. Like, it was saying like I peaked 400 LP, and it said that I was there for 6 weeks, but I played 1,200 games. So people are like doing math. They're like, dude, he played 25 games a day. You know, he only peaked 400 LP. Lol, lol, lol. And it's like, I saw that thread, man, and I'm just like, wow, like. I'm just sitting like, this guy really waited for me to get on my flight to Korea to make this thread. Just trying to get people to hate on me. It got taken down because there was like no facts in it, and it was just complete bullshit. But there was some stuff in the thread that was interesting. Like, this guy's obviously just some random kid who's banned from my Twitch chat. You could tell by the way he wrote some of the things that he was just an avid watcher, but banned from my chat, unfortunately for him. But he would say stuff like, I would just sit there and flame my team all game long, every single game, and I would FF every single match. Now, don't get me wrong. He said that I would say stuff like NA solo queue is better than Korean solo queue, which, I mean, I'll tell you right now, it's not. The thing is like, when I do say stuff like that, not only is it out of extreme frustration due to a terrible game state, but the people in NA are more accepting of being carried than they are in Korea. In Korea, they will just go down ending. Like, they would rather lose and try to solo kill their laner than sit back and get carried a lot in Korea. So I would talk about game quality in Korea a lot. I would talk about, if I had NA teammates this game, I'd probably win because they would just let me carry them. But in Korea, they just don't let you carry sometimes because they get really angry at you. Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't get mad at my teammates. Anyone who watches my stream or my videos knows that, like, I'll bring it up whenever someone on my team fucks up. But the fact of the matter is, like, man, I talk about my mistakes so unbelievably much, and I've had people who have professional, like, when I was at scouting grounds, like, I've had people who work with the best teams in NA tell me that I'm too self-critical. Okay, so, like, these people who just make comments about how all I do is sit there and blame my team, like, that's a nice outlook, man. But at the end of the day, like, I give myself way more criticism than I dish out to other people. Not only that, but like, during my streams, I was non-stop talking about how bad I was performing mechanically. Like, so often, to the point where, like, even with it just being Reddit or it just being a Twitch chat comment, the level of ignorance was so insane. And like, just to see that stuff get upvoted, like, I know Reddit's like not very known for having the smartest community, but man, that was a disappointing thread to see, because not only did it get taken down because the guy didn't put facts in there, he just blatantly lied, but the fact that everyone just went with it, man. Like, so disappointing, man. And like, I know there's some people who probably watch my stream, or maybe they don't know of me, but I know they saw that thread, and then maybe they just went on with their day, right? Maybe they were just scrolling by, and they see the thread, and then they don't know that in an hour it got taken down for being a bunch of lies. Like, there's a lot of people whose opinion probably got shaped of me from a Reddit thread, from somebody who literally, if you go to his Reddit profile, it's just him just being a horrible human being to a bunch of different people. And since he makes a negative post about me, it just gets instantly on the front page, and people are just all shitting on me. It's like, nice, man. Sorry for banning you from my Twitch chat, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just wanted to address some of the comments in there. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, but I really, really did want to talk about it because I got a lot of messages around it. So there's a reason why it got taken down, though. It got taken down because it was fake. well, not fake, but there was a lot of lies in there. But I wanted to address the things that are true, and I wanted to address the reasoning for those things. Yeah, I'm. It's probably one of the biggest triggers when people say that I don't take responsibility, because I know I do, and I know I take more responsibility than the average player does, especially at my level of play. Um, yeah. So, uh, damn. I mean, I don't really know what else to talk about. Uh, I guess to recap, uh, Korean solo queue absolutely destroys NA solo queue. The ADC players. Oh, let me talk about the skill difference. So this is gonna be funny, and I know people are gonna get a little butthurt, but I don't really care. So, from my experience, the ADC players who were low master and D1 were mechanically better than like the challenger ADCs in NA by far. Um, like they really were, and I'm not just saying that, but I promise you, the mechanical skill level of some of those players is so high. The confidence they play with compared to the people who play in NA, like so insane, man. These people that are playing like Ezreal and shit like that, and Kaisa, they play so much better than they do in NA. The top laners, are just as shit as they are in NA, so that wasn't really much of a difference. The mid laners were noticeably better. Like there was a lot of 1v9 mid lane players, and the supports were so good. Like don't get me wrong, like they're still like support mains, so like how good can they be? But a lot of them were very impressive. Uh, I was very impressed with a lot of them. That's what I'm gonna say about that. I really like the support players there, and the junglers. It was really hard to get a read on the skill level of some of the junglers. Now, when I played against LCK junglers, it was very obvious, and I actually had a really good win rate against most LCK junglers. Not that I'm better than them, but it was nice to know that like I was able to, shit on some of them. It's really fun. But when I was playing in like 300 LP, 400 LP, even like 200 LP, like I swear to God, I was jungling against people who literally wouldn't even be master tier in NA. Like, and I know that sounds just stupid, but like the jungle playstyle is more revolving around, you know, inefficient farming and just like spam ganking compared to an NA where like in NA it's more about trying to get as much, like trying to 1v9 from jungle, which is just not how they play in Korea. But the people in Korea, like I swear to God, like if you just drop them into NA solo queue, they would fucking fail. And um, I also think there's people in NA who are like lower rank that would do better in Korea than they do in NA because I know how they play and I know like their playstyle fits like Korea. Like here, I'm gonna say something and you guys are gonna think I'm memeing, but the best example is someone like Hashinshin, where like I think Hashinshin would actually be higher rank in Korea than he is in NA. Like I think Hashinshin would be like low master in Korea, because he plays like how all the Koreans play. So if anybody wants like a, if you guys didn't really watch my stream and you want an idea of how people play in Korea, everyone plays like Hashinshin in Korea. Every single player, man. And I don't mind Hashinshin as a person, dude. I don't. I don't mind him at all. But to play 1,200 games with 4 Hashinshins on your team every game, you know, really put a different perspective on the game. There's definitely things that I thought were right in NA where people would, fight with me on. People would, say I'm wrong on, but I was very adamant that I was correct. But they just also do it in Korea, and there's pro players in Korea that do these things too. So I now realize that it's a me problem and it's something that I have to change. When I talk about the Hishinshin thing, I'm more speaking on the fact that people will just constantly fight their laner no matter what the state of the map is. Like they expect their jungler to be there when the wave's in a good spot. They expect their jungler to be there when the wave's in a bad spot because they know the enemy jungler is going to be there. Stuff like that. Like jungler basically has to be everywhere at all times, not farming. So, yeah, very different, but I really do think that there's people who are like the server. It's harder, but it's not just harder because the players are better. It's harder because they've just straight up play League of Legends differently there. Every single game is level 1 invade. So many games are lost to level 1. So many games. They're just won and lost to level 1. It's really hard to take Baron in that server compared to NA. People actually contest objectives properly there. There's some people with very, like, I pride myself on my shot calling ability, and there were several instances in the Korean solo queue games where I would like think of an idea and it would just be fucking wrong, and the people on my team would be thinking of something, and I'd be like, "There's no way this works," but then it just would, and I'm like, "Holy fuck, man!" Like, I thought this was something that I was good at in terms of like the game knowledge thing, but I was super impressed with how some people would make calls. Yeah, not really sure what else to talk about. If you guys do have questions, you can post in the comments, and I will get back to them. In terms of where my stream is going to go from now and like my coaching, I don't know if I'm going to be doing coaching instantly, but coaching will return. If you want to figure out my prices, type in !coaching in my Twitch chat, and you'll get a command that pops up. Content will resume on YouTube. I'm going to be more active on YouTube now because, you know, I'm back in NA. Yeah, it's really good to be back, and I had so much fun in Korea. It was a crazy experience. I can't believe I actually did it, and I'm so glad I did. It's very, very fun, and I got to just experience different shit, and I don't regret it at all. I think it was a very good time, and I'm really glad that I was able to go there and push myself, and I'm very excited. Unironically, I know people think I'm just joking, but I'm very excited to play in NA again. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys do have other questions, I definitely missed some shit, and I'm definitely just ranting a lot. I'm very, very tired. I didn't sleep very well, and I'm like, fuck it. I said I'd make a video, so I'm gonna make a video right now. My apologies, guys, if this video, you know, didn't answer every question, but if you guys do have, you know, serious questions, just ask in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you around in my chat. Peace out.